Olumide Kayode Omosebi is here. He's a lawyer and he's the CEO of Gnosis Help Initiative. Good morning to you, Olumide. How are you?
Fine. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I have a little bit of a cold, sniffing and sneezing here and there, but we're good, thank God.
Popular symptom in Nigeria.
Honestly, I just recovered from one not long and I'm like, where is this one coming from again? God defaults. I guess I need to build my immunity. How was your week?
Thank God. Just have one more week before I close down for the year. I'll be shutting down the office next week, Friday. That would be till 2023, by God's grace.
So your staff will be so happy. A whole month plus. 2 months plus, exactly.
Yeah,
wow.
I am happy.
The truth is though, how realistic is that? Because I mean, not to throw you under the bus, but I mean, I'm sure you would still get calls during that period. So are you really going to shut down for the year?
It has to be something really
not too heavy, maybe,
to get my attention, to get me to come.
Interesting. All right, no wahala. Let's get into the conversation of today, so we can open our phone lines real quick and get to the interaction part of the discourse this morning. Last week we had an interesting conversation, still on the series that I call it of Anomalies. This week, continuing on that path, and we're looking at the simple. If you listened last week, my guest mentioned that we'll be looking at the simple on the show this morning. So let me allow you to give you introductory thoughts before we go further into the show.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us again this morning. We have quite a lot today, so I will just delve into it. Firstly, before I go on last week, somebody sent a message. We were talking about marrying a stranger, that is, marrying someone who you do not know properly, these come mainly by people's suggestions to you, introduction. Oh, I have somebody. So the core was that it is an anomaly because right from childhood, we have been told to beware of strangers. In fact, there's a popular adage called stranger danger. But right into adulthood, we are now being told to marry one. What we were told as children to beware of is what we are told as adults to not only be friends with, but to marry as spouses. Then a gentleman sent a message which you read and said, but Isaac married a stranger. And I said, Isaac had more than one wife. That was a mistake. Isaac did not have, it was Jacob that had 2 wives. Okay. That was, I didn't really answer the question. I just said it like Isaac had 2 wives. No, there is no way in the Bible or in history that a second wife of Isaac is mentioned. He had just one. His son Jacob had 2. So that was a mistake. I heard it afterwards and I was like, what was I saying? But this is the problem. When people ask some kind of questions, that is why I do not answer every question. Some questions kind of, in a bid to answer them, might, they are called mischievous questions. How can you, in trying to justify your thought, in trying to justify the fact that people introduce strangers and you get married to strangers, and trying to justify that it is good, you now say, after all, Isaac married a stranger. For example, for your information, Isaac did not marry a stranger. He married his cousin, that is his father's brother's daughter. So maybe you should go that same way and marry your cousin if you want to follow the example of Isaac. saying, after all, Isaac married his stranger, I married his cousin. So probably that is a good example for you to follow in modern times.
Well, I mean, you mentioned that some people ask questions out of mischief. While I would not completely rule that out, I wouldn't say everyone. I mean, I'm saying in defense of some, yes, some people, of course. So, some people may genuinely just ask, like, but this is what I know. And now I'm hearing something different. I use the example that they know to.
You use what is called reason, common sense. How is it possible that you want to use the Bible to justify foolishness, saying that, okay, let us marry a stranger because somebody in the Bible did? And funny enough, he married his cousin, not a stranger. But let me move away from that. I just had to correct that. I heard it while listening to the program, and I was like, and I saw my countenance. I saw that I wasn't really paying attention to that. I just said it offhand. So sorry for that. If anybody heard that one, it's not done. So today we will consider another anomaly, and it is called the simple. Remember that we are talking about anomalies in marriages. That is the definition of an anomaly is an abnormality, something that does not fit with the rest of the pattern, a deviation from common sense or what is standard. So another anomaly is married to the simple, that is marrying a simple person. Now, let me explain what a simple person means.
Can be easily misunderstood.
A simple person is referred to in English as a simpleton, that is a simple person. And the Cambridge Dictionary describes a simpleton as a person without the usual ability to use reason and understand. The Collins Dictionary describes a simpleton as a person who is stupid or easily deceived, a fool or a naive person. The word stupid means silly or unwise, exhibiting poor judgment, little intelligence, slow of mind, and tediously dull. That is what stupidity means. When they say you are stupid, it means you are exercising poor judgment or little intelligence. You are slow of mind or tediously dull. So a simpleton, according to the Collins Dictionary, is defined as a stupid person who is easily deceived. Britannica defines a simpleton as a person who does not show a good sense of judgment. So synonyms for the simpleton are fool, idiot, dunce, moron, dimwit, halfwit, nitwit. So marrying a simple person simply means marrying a fool, if by the definition of the word simple person, which is a simpleton. According to history, the wisest man that ever lived, that is King Solomon, classified men into three categories. Number one is the wise, number two is the foolish or the fool, and then the simple. Now, the wise, not that they are full of wisdom, but that they are always willing to learn. They seek understanding, and one thing peculiar to the wise man is that they fear their conscience. They believe in punishment for wrong or evil. They believe there is a God. The wise have a very strong conscience, and they are always willing to learn. That is the symbol of the wise. The fool, not that they don't have an education or knowledge or even sophisticated, but they believe that what they know is enough for them and are willing to learn anything new. They are unwilling to change, they are averse to change, and will resist change. They also have little regard for their conscience or the consequence of their actions. These kind of people are what King Solomon refers to as the fool. The third category is the simple. Now, the simple are in between the wise and the foolish. They are those that simply cannot decide for themselves, but act on the decisions and opinions of others. And that is why they are easily deceived and are ready soldiers and fertile grounds, especially for the foolish and what I call witches. Remember? Oh yes, witchcraft. I talked earlier in the year about witchcraft. Now let me explain that. Britannica defines witchcraft as the exercise or invocation of supernatural powers to control people or events. The operative word in witchcraft is the desire to control people and decide for them. The simple or simpletons are meat for those who seek to control others because they cannot decide or make up their minds on issues, and so have to consult mommy, daddy, sister, brother, uncle, pastor before they can decide. So these people are easy for people with witches, that is those that want to control others. We have them in almost every family. Those that to do something, they say you did not take permission from them. They want to control your actions, who you marry, which school you go to, what course you study, who you become. You know, we have them in almost every family. By definition, they are called witches. That is, people that seek to control others. Lots of people, men especially, have come to me telling me of how pastors, prophets, religious houses control their wives, that their women would not do anything, that is, their wives will not do anything unless their pastor tells them to do, that they obey their pastors more than their husbands. And a lot of women have also complained about their men, their husbands, who go from one mountain to the other looking for prophecy and visions, especially about work, about riches and all that, you know, from one pastor to the other. In fact, a lady reached out to me that from going from one prayer mountain to the other, one prophet to the other, her husband has left her and married that prophet's daughter after 5 children. That is what happens when you keep running to man from one. This was just yesterday, it was day before yesterday. The lady called me that, you know, the husband was always, they were going from one prayer house to the other. They traveled from Warri to Yenogoa to go and meet one prophet, and the husband told her to go back to Warri. After some time, next thing she hears that the husband has married the prophet's daughter, leaving her with 5 children. This is what happens when you marry simple people. People that cannot make their own decisions but need to hear from a person, another source, another authority, or another person they consider an authority. You know, you want to decide on a matter, they go to their classmates, they go to their uncles, they go to the family, they ask what the family, before they can decide, come to a decision with their own spouse. This always frustrates a spouse. Do not marry a simple person, that is a foolish person, that is a person who is guided by popular opinion, who has no mind of their own. It is being simple is not a form of godliness, but a sign of stupidity and foolishness. Because at the end of the day, in your home, others will decide for you. Other people will tell you what to do. Listen, you need to realize that you are in the world. You are in this world. And this world is hunter and prey. Predator and what? Prey. So if you are not that kind of a person that can analyze, sit down and take a decision, that you need to listen. Now, what you have to understand is people will never speak in your best interest. They will speak in their own best interest, the best interest of the tradition or culture, or the best interest of the doctrine which they preach in their religious homes. The only person that has your own best interest is yourself. Refrain from simple people. people that are easily swayed by public opinion. Now, we don't have much time. I want to play a song, especially for the Yoruba people. I think almost everybody would understand Yoruba because we're in Lagos. At least you will pick a word or two. This song reminds you of the world that you are in. Auntie Onye, please can we just...
Are you ready?
Yes, please.
DJ Chi on ones and twos. Let's go.
Yes, that is a song by Tunji Oyelano. Our fathers and mothers and people of my generation will identify with this song. The song warns you that the world is all about taking from you. If you have a good wife, let us marry her with you. If you have a good job, let us spend with you. If you lose your job, we have to leave. You know, it warns you of human behavior. It is a song by Tunji Oyelano, and it tells you that in your paro ni omwarayenfe, that is, the world wants gullible people. The world wants gullible people. The world wants simple people so they can use. So be careful that what the warning is not what you go and join yourself to. You will not last. It is not possible. Simple people that by the time you go to work, you come back, and not one neighbor has influenced and changed the mind. And a friend of mine called, not really a friend, but and said, the wife just said, we are going to UK, or that we have to go to UK, that's where everybody is going to. And he said, why? Said, well, everybody is going to, because somebody and it became, that led to the breakup. The woman, number one, cannot even afford the trip. But just because somebody left and called her, it became an issue.